Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wyoming Knits YouTube channel. My name is Jenny Lee, and this is my channel where I talk about all the things that I've been knitting on over the past week. Today is Sunday, March 1st, and this is episode 127. 128. I'm getting a late start today. It is 2:30. I usually am editing by now, but it's been a slow, lazy day today. I've been crafting a little and baking, and so we're gonna go with a little bit later episode today, and hopefully I don't forget anything. It is also the beginning of the month, so I do need to pull up my stash stats and how much yarn I have knit out of my stash this month. I finished a sweater, and I have 2 finished objects today. So let's hop right into where you can find me. You can find me on Ravelry as Jenny Lee Knits. You can find me on Instagram as Jenny Lee Knits, Jenny Lee S Knits, and today I'm coming to you from Southwest Wyoming, where I live with my husband, our daughter, and our little Yorkie, Dax. It is kind of an overcast day. It is not too warm. It says 54 degrees outside right now. Our high is 54 degrees, so it's probably not going to get any warmer, but it feels like spring outside. We had some rain this morning, and I think everything's going to start warming up. We're going to get more rain. Hopefully we get more moisture than we did this winter. There's not a lot of snow. The little patches of snow that we did get have almost all melted, except for in the mountains. So let's talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Lento. This is a pattern by, is it Joanna Helin? I used some Stitchin with yarn. This was the color Stitch Quest from last year, and then this is a Sheepy Shire Surrey alpaca in the color Hydrangea. I held those together to get this beautiful sweater. The sleeves are the perfect length. I can pull them if I want to, but they're not too long, not too short. The hem is just about perfect. I talked about this sweater last time. It was finished, it was on my mannequin, and now I get to wear it today. I'm hoping it won't be too warm today to wear this. It is knit on a size 10 needle, so the gauge is pretty loose and open. So hopefully it won't be too warm, even with the Surrey alpaca. So let's talk about finished objects. My first finished objects, I have my Thursday night socks. This is a pattern by Sock Witchery. This is a Momma Jess yarn. It was the 3rd Sunday of Advent sock set that she did for Advent 2025. I did the contrast color on the cuff for 20 rounds. I used a size 0 2mm needle. I did a German twisted cast on for the cuff. I knit 2x2 rib for 20 rounds. Then I started in on the Thursday night sock pattern. I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. And then I did the toe from the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla Socks pattern. The toe for the Thursday night socks might be the same. I've never actually checked. I just know the toe from the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla Socks on 9-inch circulars, and that's what I do. I switched to Magic Loop for the toe, and these are finished. I was about 5 rows into the second cuff last week, so I got these finished. I'm so excited to have these finished. These weighed 70 grams. So they are finished. I need to take pictures of them and then they will be ready to wear. I usually don't block my socks before I wear them. I just put them on these sock blockers to show them on here. I don't think I've ever actually washed them and put them on sock blockers to dry. I just hang them or throw them in the dryer on 0 heat just to move around and stay a little soft and not crunchy. So that's my first finished object. The second finished object is my honeycomb blanket. This is finished. Let's see. This is the top. I only had 2 more honeycombs to go before I finished last week. It is this wide. It fits around my body when I'm sitting on the couch. And right now it is hitting the floor. So if I wanted to, I could curl up underneath this and take a nap on the couch. I did cast on the size for the small size. I cast on the small size and I knit as many repeats as there were for the large size to make it longer. I think it would be about half the size if I had stopped at the repeat for the small size. I think the small size has a repeat of 36 honeycombs and the large size has 54. I used a size 7, US size 7 needle, which is the recommended size in the pattern. I used Lion Brand Mandala in the color Serene. Let me grab my... This is the color Serene, and this is the color Mantra, and this is what I have left. I want to say the blanket weighed 855 grams, and these were 150 grams each. I'm not sure which one I used most of because I did start out with about this much of the blue and a little less than this of the pink when I started because I had leftovers from a previous blanket. I did this blanket one other time in these colors, except for I did the blue as the foreground and the pink as the background. So I just flip-flopped them this time. I love how this turned out. When I share my stash stats, I will give you the exact number of grams that one was. And so now let's talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is not a sock. I finished the Thursday night socks and I haven't picked up any more socks yet. I finished the Thursday night socks last night. So in this bag, this is my Stitch Quest bag from Katie's Randomness, and I am knitting a Musselburgh hat. I am using Sailor Yarn Co. This is 100% alpaca in the color Brown Marled. This is an 80-gram ball of yarn, and This is what it looks like caked up. And I worked on this, ooh, dropped a stitch. Worked on this just a little bit last week. I was right here last Sunday. So I did about that much. Trying not to lose any stitches. So it's growing. It's not growing quickly, or as quickly as it was when I started. I wanted to finish that blanket and my socks, and there was some other things that I wanted to work on this week. So this is the Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. I am doing the adult medium size, and I am using the 8 stitch gauge. My needle size is a 1.5. I do like a tighter gauge on my hats. So that's the Musselburgh. Then I worked on, I think I worked on this one. Maybe not. Nope. I did not work on my Jaunty. Did not work on that one. I grabbed it because I thought I did. I don't think I did. And the other small thing I worked on is the Everything November Marled mitts, I think is what it's called. I will have the names of all the patterns, all the pattern designers, and all the yarns that I used in up here as I talk about them, and then all the bags and the yarn and my project page will be linked in the description box below. I will link to anything I can link to in the description box for you. This is a tea cake make bag. I got this one on Etsy. I think this was my very first project bag with the, I think these are alpacas. And I am using some Zen Yarn Garden yarn that I had in a project that I pulled out. So I do not know the colors, and they are no longer dyeing yarn. So it probably doesn't matter what color they are anyway. I was right here last time I showed this. I am working on the thumb gusset right now. I have 2 more rows to go, and then I can start, I can put the thumb on hold. This is a sparkle yarn also. I am using a size 3.25 millimeter needle, and if I put this on, I only have a few more rounds to go for the thumb gusset, so it'll fit about like that, maybe. I have knit this one other time. I'm holding 2 strands of fingering weight yarn. This is 8515, I think. Most of the Zen yarn is 8515, but this has the sparkle, so I don't know if that changes the composition. It is a little bit plumper than like the Momma Jess yarn. So hoping to get these done. I don't know. I started them probably April of last year and just never finished them. I didn't even write it down when I started them, because I thought I would have them done fast because my last set I think took a weekend, and this has taken almost a year. So those are every once in a while. And then I worked on, I came upstairs and I had brought some of my projects in bigger bags upstairs that I knew I wasn't going to work on when I wanted to finish those auction socks and get my sweater finished and get some other things finished. And I did switch out where I'm storing this project. I put this in my Knit Stars bag, and this is my, I gotta get all my yarn. I have lots and lots of yarn connected. This is my Hearthside cardigan. Last time I didn't move the stitch marker. Last time I showed it, my stitch marker was right here. And since then I had picked up, and I got to here since the beginning of the year, and I did this whole side panel and picked up the next side panel, and I need to do 2 or 3 more inches on the front, so those are equal, and then I think I will be ready to connect the front and the back and have my sleeve or my armholes there. This is a cardigan, so it will fit about like this. I can get some of that yarn to go towards the back. Like that. Yeah. So I'm working on this side. And I just need a few more repeats to get to the same. I am using all of my purple yarn scraps, anything that had purple in it, and this is brioche, so that's the front and that's the inside. I worked on this Friday night and I made a couple mistakes, and I was able to drop down and fix some of it. That is a little complicated because you have your yarn overs that you have to pick up with the stitch. I am getting better at that, but I am trying to not go more than 1 or 2 rows before I notice that I made a mistake to fix that. So for the garter part, you hold 4 strands of fingering weight yarn together. For the brioche, you hold 2 strands for the front and 2 strands for the back. So hopefully this will get a little more work this week. I'm going to be taking it downstairs with me and setting it by my chair so I can work on it every once in a while. Hopefully when I get it connected, the 2 front panels connected to the back panel, once I get that connected, I think it should be just knit and brioche stitch until it reaches a certain length, and then do a hem, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to read a little bit further in the pattern, and we will hopefully get that going. The next thing I worked on this week, I had finished the blanket on Monday or Tuesday. I know I worked on part of it Monday. I think I finished it on Tuesday. I did the I-cord bind off and woven all the ends Tuesday after school. So after I did that, I picked up this bag. This bag is available in my spread shop if you would like a big tote bag with Wyoming Knits on it. This is my gnome blanket that I'm making for my friend Megan. I found a corner to corner, hopefully I put in right here a picture. I found a corner to corner crochet graph, I think that's what it's called, on my project page. I linked to the original website that has that graph on there if you would like to look at that. It is a free pattern, but I found the picture, and I know my friend Megan loves gnomes, and I was like, ooh, that would be the perfect blanket for her. And I decided to do mitered squares. So I started right down here with this first mitered square, and I figured out that I would need to make these 15 by 15. And last time I was almost finished with the first row. I was on this square, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4 more squares and started on the next row, and I was able to finish all of the blue on the bottom. This does fit on my queen size bed. The corner and the other corner do just barely fit to the corners up on the top of my queen size bed. She has a twin size bed at her house, and so hopefully this will be just perfect for her bed. But I've got the first row of blue finished. I've got to do 3 more gray squares and then start on the third row. So I've been working on this. I'm using Knit Picks Brava. This is the Brava Sport, and I will have all the colors listed on my project page. So I've been working on that one. I got a lot done because I finished the honeycomb blanket, and then today is March 1st, and so I started my next honeycomb blanket, and I put that in this bag. This is a bag that my aunt gave me. She did the graphic on here, and I'm using the Michaels Loops and Threads with the little tweed bits. This is the Loops and Thread Flex. I'm using, this one is Sunshine. Violet. This one is Seafoam and Peachy. So I have the first 2 in the blanket, and I have my first honeycomb. So we will go peach and green next, and then go back to the purple with the stripes. The dog wants out. 1 second. Okay, he's outside. So I have all of this yarn right here on the chair. It's kind of a lot to hold all up together, but hopefully next Sunday you will see, excuse me, you'll see a full color repeat with the purple, the green, the pink, and purple, because it will be 7 days later and I will have at least 8 stripes, 7 or 8 stripes in there for you to see, and there's 3 colors, so there'll definitely be 2 of each color in there. And that's all I've worked on this week. I did order yarn. I did. Yarn Cafe Creations is rebranding, doing something, and she put every single skein of yarn on sale for $20 a skein. So I went over and I looked at what she had in her inventory so far, and I found some purple and ordered a sweater's quantity in purple DK that should be here sometime in the next couple of weeks. So I will add that to my stash. I do kind of have a plan for that one. I think I'm going to do the prospect pullover for that one. I have 2 sweaters in bags ready to start. I need to cake up the yarn, but I want to finish some other things before I get going on that. I need to start some socks for my mom, my mother-in-law, and my 2 sisters-in-law for Mother's Day. I had my 2 sisters-in-laws pick out the yarn that they wanted me to make socks with, and I have 2 skeins, one for my mom and one for my mother-in-law, that I've already picked out for Mother's Day socks for this year. I have 2 other pairs of socks that I promised to some other girls, and so I need to get going on those. I have 2 more Momma Jess sock sets that I cast on. One is the second or fourth Sunday. I think it's the second Sunday of Advent, and then the New Year's Eve cast on that I would like to get finished. I think those 2 might need to go on hold for a bit while I work on some other socks for people. And let's talk about my stash stats for February. Okay, I have my computer right here. So if I look over, I'm looking at the computer screen so I can tell you the numbers. So for February, I started out with 84,069.7 grams. I bought 1 skein of Lion Brand Ombre, Lion Brand Mandala Ombre in the color Mantra to finish the honeycomb blanket, because I knew I was going to run out. So that was 150 grams. So I only brought in 150 grams this month so far. Well, for February. I'm still waiting for my February Momma Jess Knits yarn. She is working on that. Then I have that Yarn Cafe Creation yarn that is coming. But in February, I knit 1, 2, 3 pairs of socks, 1 sweater, and 1 blanket. And then I gifted some yarn for a total of 1,376 73.5 grams out. My sweater was 255 grams and the blanket was 250.5 grams out, or 850.5 grams for the blanket. 70 grams for my Thursday night socks, 67.5 for the vanilla bean, and 70.5 for the string of lights that I did at the very beginning of the month. So that took my total grams, like the difference in and out. I did 1,223.5 grams out, which brought my running total of grams to 82,846.2 grams. So started out with 84,000 grams and I am down to 82,000 grams. So that is a nice chunk out of my stash, and hopefully I can get some more out of my stash this month. We have this week of school. Next week is parent-teacher conference week. Then we get a week off of school for spring break. Then we have one more week in March. That's the next 4 weeks. Then April, we don't really have many days off in April. We have a couple Fridays off. And then it's May. We go all of May and we're out by the beginning of June. So I only have 3 months left of school and then I'm on summer vacation. This year has flown. I love being a teacher. This year has gone so fast. We only got 3 months left and then it's summer vacation. And there's a week in there for spring break. Let's talk about how much I spent this month. I did have someone order from my Spreadshirt shop, so thank you. So my income from that was $10, and I spent $12.50 on memberships for my Twin Stitches membership. If you use my link in the description box below, that gives me a discount on the upcoming month if you sign up using my link. Then I had my it says Mama Jess March. I don't think that's right. Oh, I spent money. I didn't get this is money I spent, not yarn I got. Okay. I purchased the Mama Jess March sock set. I bought a pattern. I bought the Ombre yarn, and then I did purchase from Yarn Cafe Creations. So I spent $194, rounded up to $195 out. So difference of $185. But I will be getting a check from YouTube at the end of next month because I did meet the $100 threshold for January and February. It took all of January and part of February to get to the $100 threshold. So I will be getting a paycheck from them next month. And that amount always depends on how many people watch my videos, how many subscribers I have, and how many ads get watched. So the more view time I have, the higher the number. So between 2 months is when I usually get a check from YouTube. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you want to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have 1,000 hours of watch time, I think. I can't remember, but I've never had difficulty getting those watch time hours. I think it's because I put out at least a half-hour video every week. I think that's where my watch time hours come from. So if you are interested in starting a YouTube channel, I would say go for it, and just be consistent. Putting out a video every week, every 2 weeks, as long as you stay consistent, I think that will help. So let's, the dog wants back in, so let's wrap it up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the hype button. I'm not exactly sure what that does. It gives you points, and then depending on which videos get more points is what they push out more to other people through the algorithm. I really don't know how that works. They say it helps, so I don't know. I do usually try to hit the hype button on some of the ones that I watch. I will have the links to other channels, make-alongs, like their Ravelry make-along page. So check that out if you want to find some more make-alongs. There's some sweater ones, there's some year-long ones, there's some stash ones, there's some use your minis. So go check those ones out also, and I will see you next week. Until then, happy knitting.